Happy Thursday, Bucs fans. You're watching Bucs Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Reed Barkus. Wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching, hope you're having a great day. Today's show, all about Mr. Baker Mayfield. What does his future look like with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Could he get extended? Are we going to let him go and be a free agent after next season? That's what today's show is all about. Before we get started, though, I know you're probably looking at this graphic right now and saying, why the heck does it say 76ers on there? Now, we just started the month of April, and I sit next to my best friend, who I've known since kindergarten, and we work at the same company. His name's Jake Chipper. He is the host of 76ers Now, and I had the idea, hey, let's beat him. Like, I don't care if he's running an NBA channel here at Chat Sports. I want to beat him. So we've gained 10 subs in the month of April, and he's gained 15 subs on 76ers Now. He's actually producing this video right now. So if you want to comment, hey, F Jake in the comment section, let's do that. But help me beat my best friend in the month of April. We got 10 already. He's got 15. Let's jump him, and let's make sure we don't lose that lead. We get free, fun Bucs content daily, and it's $0, like I said. And you get to see my face every day. So let's beat my best friend, and let's move on to today's show. All right, should the Bucs extend Baker Mayfield? That is the biggest question that we're kind of talking about right now, because the NFL annual meetings are happening right now, or they have happened in Arizona. And the Glazers, Joel Glazer, talked about, what Baker Mayfield means to the team, means to him, and, sort of what a contract extension. Is there negotiations? Are they talking about it? So that's what we're going to talk about on today's show. Could he get extended? Should he get extended? Because he has been this team's quarterback for the last 3 years. And I mean, when you look at the stats, obviously 2024, they stand out as probably his best season in his career. Going back to Cleveland, going back to Carolina, obviously LA. But I mean, when you look at his passing yards compared to his rushing yards, I think that's something that stands out in terms of, Baker Mayfield, yes, he's got that energy, he's got that moxie, but at the same time, he's got the running ability. We know this. So when you throw for 4,500 yards, but you're also running for 378, that kind of says something and should speak to the Bucs and the NFL in general of, this guy's good and he deserves a certain type of money. But where's that value? We kind of have to figure it out. Now, talking about that 2024 season, we want that back. We want that Baker Mayfield back. Now, obviously, he had Liam Cohen, and last year you got off to a great start. We were talking about it in the office today of, he was an MVP candidate by week 5. Like, he was cooking, and then injuries derailed this team. The confidence derailed this team, and lost the last 8 or 10 games. So it's like, we need 2024 Baker Mayfield back. And if we get him back, his price is going to skyrocket. And you're saying, hey, how are we going to get 2024 Baker Mayfield back? Zach Robinson worked with Liam Cohen. He has the same type of offense as Liam Cohen because they worked in LA together. Zach Robinson was the pass game coordinator / QB's coach when Liam Cohen was the OC in 2022 with the LA Rams. There's some crossover there with, Baker Mayfield working with Zach Robinson when he had his little stint there in 2022 where he beat the Raiders with a 98-yard drive to win. I mean, that was unbelievable. So they have some familiarity there. Could Baker Mayfield bring back that 2024 season that he had with Liam Cohen because of the familiarity with the system, with the offense, and with Zach Robinson in general? Now you tell me, what is your confidence level in Baker Mayfield going into 2026? Are you like, I don't know if Zach Robinson and Liam Cohen having worked together and having the same type of offense? It's not the exact same type of offense, but are you like, that doesn't matter? Baker Mayfield, he's washed, he's 31 years old. If you think that, then scale it 1 or a 2. But if you're like, hey, I see the connection here. I love Baker Mayfield. I'm a Baker Mayfield guy. I'm gonna grow out my mustache again just cause. But I'm gonna go with an 8 because I see the connection there. And Baker Mayfield is the type of guy to, if he has a down season, he is that more driven to have an even better season next season. Because I don't know about you guys, when I think of Baker Mayfield, I think of an aggressive, hype, high energy guy, and his confidence was low last year. He knew this. He kind of talked about it. We'll get to that quote in a little bit, but I'm at an 8 right now. But you let me know down in the comment section, and if you're like, Reed, you're an idiot, please let me know. I love hearing your guys' opinions. But moving on with the rest of the show, Jason Light on a Baker Mayfield extension. This is during the combine. He said, "I don't have a timeline for that, but our plans revolve around Baker in the future. So I don't think anybody wants to see Baker leave the organization. We know everything we need to know about Baker being with him for 3 years, and everything is positive. He's tough as hell, great leader. No timeline, but all plans revolve around Baker." And I was happy to hear this, honestly, when I read this quote back around the combine time, because we know, like I said, we know who Baker Mayfield is. And having a guy like that be a leader of your team is so important, especially at the most important quarterback position. The most important position on the field, other than maybe right tackle, or left tackle, is a quarterback. And you got a guy like this who has been a leader of your team since day one. As soon as he came in, he proved himself to the team, to the organization, to the fans, that he can play up to a high level and go to the playoffs with this team and this organization. So having him back would be good. And Baker Mayfield talked about last year and maybe the downfall of it. So this is Baker per the Mirror US. He said, when you have confidence and momentum, it goes a long way, especially in the type of ball games we were in early in the year. We were just executing well, and so I think forward, the injuries do play a factor. Still, it comes down to executing in the critical moments, and we weren't doing that later in the year. Sometimes you don't have the momentum or confidence. It's frustrating. A little bad thing toward the end of the year, guys are like, well, not this again, instead of being like, all right, no, we're going to make it work. Doesn't matter. Next play. That comes down to me being able to instill that confidence and drive the belief into the guys. Guys, I love that. Are you kidding me? Having a guy with that mentality be the leader of your squad is immensely great, because this is why my confidence is so high in Baker Mayfield. Like I said before, his confidence and the momentum, he talked about it, was low. He had the whole hurt shoulder. Maybe that lowered his confidence. He wasn't playing as well. So when he's not playing as well, his confidence isn't there. He's the guy in the locker room to get everybody going. We were talking about this towards the end of the season. We needed the Baker Mayfield that would fist pump at the end of a play and get everybody riled up, the fans, the teammates, the locker room. Like, that is what we need. So a guy taking accountability for, I'm the guy that people need to lean on. That is why my confidence is so high in Baker Mayfield, and that is why I think we should extend him. We'll get to that later. But I'm just going over everything that we need to know about Baker Mayfield, even though we know a lot already. But Jason Light talked about this at the NFL owners' meetings, on the Mayfield negotiations for an extension. Baker is still our quarterback. He's one of the toughest guys on the team. He's a great leader. Everything kind of revolves around the quarterback spot. At some point, I'm sure we'll figure something out. There's no timetable on that. And I like this quote, because if you kind of see like what he's talking about in the other quote that I showed earlier in the video, they're very similar. So like he still has the same mindset, Jason Light. He still has the same mindset on Baker Mayfield. He's our guy. Nothing has changed. Those two quotes are very similar, just different times. The other one was at the combine. This one was at the NFL owners meetings. So nothing has changed, which means a possible extension could be coming, because they're not wavering off of Baker Mayfield, which I love. Moving on, Joel Glazer, per JoeBucksFan.com, on a Baker Mayfield extension. He was asked, hey, what about a Baker extension? Is there anything there? By Joe Bucs fan. He said, that's a part of GM Jason Light's plan on and everything. And I know Jason is looking at not only Baker, any other contract, and it's a constant thing that you look at. That's something, I missed the T there. Sorry, guys. That's something that Jason Light, assistant GM, and assistant GM Mike Greenberg, and his staff, VP of Football Research, Jackie Davidson, carefully evaluate, and there's a time and place for everything, and everything always takes care of itself. And he went on to say that Baker is his guy. Like, he loves Baker, loves what he's done for the team and everything like that. So Baker's their guy, which kind of tells me, okay, yeah, we lost 2 leaders last year. in I guess, a couple of weeks ago. Like, in free agency, we lost 2 guys, one to retirement, one to the 49ers. But we still have a fierce competitor at QB, and it could be a good idea to keep a guy like that who is a already proven leader and a fierce competitor, keep him on that team for multiple years, which is why I think an extension could be a good idea. But what would that look like? So that's what we're going to talk about next. You can say, hey, Baker Mayfield, he's a great guy. Let's extend him. But you got to be like, okay, what does that look like? Because the QB market right now is going to get interesting with CJ Stroud, Bryce Young. Like, there's a lot of people going into contract years later on that could shake up the market a little bit for QBs. So what would it look like? Well, already looks like his contract right now, it was 3 years, $100 million, 33 annual. His guaranteed money was 80, and then they restructured it to guarantee him more money. It was like $10 million. I'm not the best at the financial side of the NFL. It's a little confusing, but what you see here is what his contract is. His cap hit 39 mil, almost 40 mil in 2026. So an extension would lower that in terms of, extending him or restructuring him. You're going to extend him if you're going to move his contract at all. So it would lower the cap hit, but then you got to look at, okay, where does he match up with the other NFL quarterbacks? He's not top 5 in terms of. I think these guys are gonna make a little bit more, but you got to remember when these contracts were signed. So the cap always goes up. It's gonna go up next year as well. So you got to factor that in. Okay, what is he gonna make? Because a lot of these guys in the top 10, with how Baker finished off the year last year, I love Baker, but recency bias a lot of the times for contracts and stuff like that. He's going to be at that number 10, number 11, number 12 range if he's going to get an extension. So let's take a look at what PewterReport.com had to say on a potential Baker extension. If you guys don't follow Pewter Report, what are you doing? They're amazing. Beyond the cap is the real governor for the Bucs roster speed. Cash. The team's ownership group, just like every other team, sets a cash budget each year. The Glazers, outside the Tom Brady years, have historically tied that budget to the salary cap. The Bucs' cash spending for 2026 currently sits at just under $238 million, and they still need money for their draft class, practice squad, and in-season operating moves. A 4-year extension, even at the low end of these projections at $50 million per year, would call for a raise in Mayfield's 2026 compensation somewhere around $8 million. Unless the Glazers are approving of an out-of-character increase in spending, there just isn't room for this move at this time. Clarity may come this summer. Perhaps the Glazers love Baker. They did. Joel said that's his guy. Are willing to approve a one-off. Perhaps the two sides still need to find a common ground. Jason Light is one of the more honest general managers in the NFL. That is true. If he says the team has been in contact with Baker's representatives, then that's a good bet. The framework for each side sees a reasonable extension has been shared, but that doesn't mean anyone should hold their breath for a forthcoming deal. I'll say this right now. A Baker Mayfield extension needs to happen before the 2026 season. I have full faith that Baker Mayfield will be somewhere around his 2024 season. It's not going to be 4,500 yards, 71% completion percentage with 41 touchdowns, and 42, 44 total because he rushed for touchdowns. I don't think it's going to be exactly that, but it could be. I think it's going to be around there. So you need to get this done before he has a great season. And hey, honestly, good. I'm hoping that happens. But you should pay him now because, unfortunately, on a down season, you're going to pay him a little bit less. But if he balls out next year, you're going to have to pay him Dak Prescott money or more, because of the salary cap going up. That's just what the market's going to be. So you got to get in before it gets crazy, because if you want a baseline, this is what Pewter Report had. If you want a baseline of what they're just like very, very, very low of what Baker could, because Baker is better than Daniel Jones. Let's all be real. Producer Chip, Baker Mayfield is better than Daniel Jones. Thank you. So Daniel Jones signed a 2-year, $88 million contract coming off his Achilles injury. So that's where we're at right now. So my contract prediction my contract extension prediction for Baker Mayfield would be 3 years. I still think 3 or 4 years, but this is a guy that I think we need on the team. He's 30, 31 years old. We need him on the squad. He is that leader now that we lost those 2 guys that we've had for 14 years. We need a guy to lead this team. So give him 3 years, $165 million. That's $55 million a year, guaranteed half the salary. This is very baseline. This is just my prediction. Like I said, I'm not the best at the financial side of the NFL, but this is very simple in terms of total value, average per year, guaranteed money. Could be incentives, could be bonuses, but you give him $55 million a year, that is lower than what he could be making if he has a great year, which we're hoping for in 2026. So 55, I feel like that's fair because the lower end is 50. I believe in the guy. I have confidence in the guy. Let's give him 55. But you let me know. Should the Bucs extend Baker Mayfield? Type Y for yes, type N for no. If you type yes, please let me know what your contract extension would be. Is it similar to mine? Is it something else? Because I'd love to hear from you guys what your opinions are in terms of what we talk about on today's show, because on every show, actually, because this is what this channel is about. So please let me know yes or no if the Bucs should extend Baker Mayfield. That's all I got for you on today's show. And like I said, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that we can beat producer/host Jake Chipper, who is the host of 76ers Now, my best friend. Let's crush him in the month of April. You'll get free daily fun Bucs content that we can all talk about all day long. And without further ado, fire the cannons.